Now, if you've been following the news at all, I'm sure you've heard of the economic slowdown, recession that's affecting the entire world. And us as DJs not being an essential part of society, it can be a really scary thing to think about. But in this video, I want to talk about 3 things that you can do as a DJ now to prepare yourself and put yourself in the best position with this recession coming in. Now, this might not be a technical tips and tricks video, but I think there's some really good information here, so let's get started. Now, the first thing I think that every DJ should be doing, and even more so with the impending recession, is building your brand. Now, first thing to think about when building your brand is that your brand is you yourself, the DJ. It's not just you playing out, but your business, how you look on social media, what kind of content that you're putting out to the world. All of that stuff is really important and should be taken very seriously. And in this day and age, social media is your best bet to building your brand. So that means being active on all the popular social media networks. So that means Twitter, Instagram, and especially TikTok in 2022 and moving forward. So figure out how you're gonna build your presence there. Make sure to be consistent with posting content and make sure that you have something that's specifically you that you're bringing to the table, that your audience and your fans can come to your pages and get that piece of you and something that they know that they can get specifically from you and that you're known for. But also keep in mind that social media isn't the only thing that you should be worried about. And I would say especially for more up and coming DJs that aren't at the mid or high tiers yet, going out and networking in person is so important and so valuable. Make sure that you go out to other events when you're not working. Make sure that you're meeting other DJs, other managers, other promoters, making sure to make that face-to-face, hand-to-hand, have a conversation kind of interaction with these people. And of course, make sure that it's genuine. Don't go into that kind of situation just asking for things right away. Build a relationship with these people, build a friendship with these people. And my number 1 tip for networking in person is always provide something first before you ask for anything. That could mean going out to other DJs events, maybe buying a drink or 2 to show your support, or maybe that they play a certain kind of music and you might have a couple tracks that you think that they may like, sending that through Instagram DM or email. Just providing value before you ask for anything in return is such an important part of networking in person, and it can't be overstated. The second thing that you want to make sure that you're working on as a DJ is to expand your versatility as a DJ. Maybe you're just a club DJ and that's your main gig. Maybe start thinking of getting into weddings or private events and moving into that space, maybe into retail DJing, at a store at the mall or something like that. There's so many other things that DJs can do rather than just rocking a lounge or a club. And there's so much money to be made in these other parts of DJing live gigs. It's really imperative, especially at a time like this where those lounge and club gigs might be drying up, or the budgets for those gigs might be drying up, to kind of pivot into those other realms of DJing as well. Now, that doesn't mean giving up the club DJing or lounge DJing, but just adding onto it to make sure you're the most versatile and also the most bookable DJ possible. And finally, the last thing that I want to talk about is DJs, save your money. Now, unfortunately, I know so many DJs out there that really don't do a great job of setting aside some money for the rainy days. Now, my number 1 tip for this is don't set aside a certain dollar amount every month, but make it a percentage of your weekly, bi-weekly, monthly income. That makes it so much easier to do it that way. Because say, maybe this week you're only making $250, $300 DJing that week. If in your mind you've already said it that you're going to set aside $100 every week, that could be really tough compared to a week maybe you're making $800, $900, $1,000 that week. If you make it a percentage, say something as small as 10% a week, just that consistent saving adds up so quickly, and it becomes a habit so quickly. And when the rainy day comes and you need that cash, it's so much better to have that on hand than scrambling around and really struggling. So make sure that you set aside a percentage of your money every time you get paid to make those days when you might not have a gig and you're really maybe down on your luck at that time, that you have something to fall back on. Especially in a time like this, it's so important. All right, now I know this video wasn't as fun of a tips and tricks video that I usually put out, but in a time like this, I think it's so important to get this information out to all my DJs out there, especially those that do this full time. It's really important to, make the best of this time and put yourself in the best position at this time to make sure that your career continues to blossom and continues to grow. Now, for the question of the day, I want to ask, as a DJ, do you set aside money every time you get paid, or bi-weekly, monthly? If you do, go ahead and leave that down in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. And as always, if you found this video useful, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you're looking for more tips and tricks content related to DJing and music production, be sure to subscribe to this channel. Until then, I'll see you guys in the next one.